I will try in my small way to compare the British wrestling and the American wrestling. Uh, I was born in Nairobi, but due to my father's profession, we went out. I came back to Nairobi in Standard 5, that is 1973. That is when we found the British wrestling being aired on KBC. By then, KBC used to be known as Voice of Kenya. It was the British wrestling which was known as freestyle wrestling. We continued with that up to I did my schooling. Even when I was in school, I studied up to Form 4 while in Nairobi. Then Form 5 and 6 I was in Bungoma, but we had an access to the TV. Because the entertainment prefect who was in charge of the TV was a prefect like me, so anytime I would go, during wrestling time I would go there. I want to say that during those days, parents were so harsh with TV, especially my father. My father would only allow us to watch news, and one time he used to appear on a program called Mambo Leo. One time, and whenever he was away, we would just see the TV throughout. But one time he appeared on Mambo Leo without us knowing. He would tell us that today I'll be on TV, so watch Mambo Leo. But that day he was called and he didn't tell us. We watched him, but when he came and asked us if we had seen him, we said we were not aware. So from that day, whatever. But when it came to wrestling, he wanted to stop. Okay, he was an official of Police Amateur Boxing Association, and he was also an official of the Kenya Amateur Boxing Association. So anything to do with boxing, he'd allow us. Wrestling, we forced him, and since wrestling has a lot similar to boxing, he had to give in. So from up to the time I completed Form 4, we used to watch wrestling. And then from there, up to Form 6, yeah. And then from there, my father, when I was in Form 5, my father was transferred to Garissa, so we could not watch TV. From Garissa, I was employed, and then I stayed out. But I do recall when I was in Kapenguria, I used to visit somebody who was working at the hospital, and I could see wrestling on his TV, which was British wrestling, freestyle. From there, I went to Northeastern for 3 or 4 years. Then coming back to Nairobi, that is when I bumped into, by then it used to be called WWF. Nowadays it's called WWE. The change from WWF to WWE is that World Wildlife Fund complained that the Inhuman program was given the same title as it, so these ones were changed to World Wrestling Federation to World Wrestling Entertainment. I don't know whether wrestling is entertainment. It is entertainment to the viewers, but it is not entertainment it is not entertainment. It is entertainment to the viewers, but it is not entertainment to those who are inside. Now, if we have to compare, first of all, the British wrestling had people like Masambula. Of course, I was nicknamed Masambula. We had Honey Boy Zimba. We had Mick McMichael. We had Honey Boy Zimba. We had Big Daddy. We had a lot of people. And it used to go for 3 rounds, just like boxing. You fight for 5 minutes, and then you rest a bit to your corner, then again fight and whatever. But this WWE, it is just 1 round, and it can either last in seconds or even hours. Those days, the British wrestling, no fighting happened outside the ring. But nowadays you find sometimes those who are fighting outside the ring fight more than what they are fighting into the ring. And when it came to British wrestling, it was strictly between the combatants. Nowadays, with the WWE, you find There is a lot of interference, there is whatever. And then, if you ask somebody of my age, whether he can, if Honey Boy Zimba or Masambula or those people I've mentioned, if you are to ask them if Mick McMichael, if somebody like Mick McMichael was to record an audio, would you know his voice? A lot of them would say they don't know. But then you find that nowadays there is a lot of showmanship. When somebody is coming, that there is a lot of noise, there is whatever, and then there is a lot of talking, there is a lot of so many things, and even the type of fighting they are doing. If it was a real fight, somebody would finish 6 months in a hospital. So it is so. But you see, the bad thing is, in the absence of the British and having our minds being watching this one for decades, we are addicted. It's just like prison food. When you are taken to jail, of course I've never been taken to jail, but if you are taken to jail, you serve the jail for several years. The first 2 to 3 days you'll refuse the food because it is poorly cooked, isn't it? But if you finish there 10 years, when you come out, you'll start missing that food. Something like that. Lastly, I want to talk about why I was called Masambula. Masambula, this fellow never lost a fight. He used to win all the fights. And I used to fight a lot. Can even see my finger is permanently defected. I used to fight and I never lost any fight. I remember even one time the OCPD saying that you can know the number of beers Huatenga has taken by the number of complaints people come to the police. He takes one beer, he beats up one person. If the people come, 10 of them complaining, then it means that he has taken 10 beers. I recorded this because young people have liked me comparing life then and life now. Thank you.